All right. Tuesday, June 16th, 2026, London Open session. There we go. So, quick recap of the yesterday's price action. And as you can see, the all-time highs was reached on both ES and Nasdaq. And that was ultimately the draw for the day. Welcome to the trading jungle. There we go. All right. So yeah, that was reached on both ES and Nasdaq. Besides that, there is really not much on the upside going on, but there is this huge gap on the downside as the new week opening up. So this still can remain a measure of interest going into the future slash going into this week. All right. So yeah, Nasdaq also, after reaching the all-time high here, consolidation, and ever since lunch, New York lunch yesterday, it's just going sideways. Remember FOMC later this week, Wednesday, and don't you Christian is saying NQ didn't make all-time highs, neither ES. How come? That looks like an all-time high to me. But yeah, maybe you're referring to the September contract. Yes, sure. That's completely fine. But on the continuous contract we did. We did glaze the all-time highs here. Admittedly, the June contract has still a little bit room to go. Same the September contract. So yeah, nonetheless, that's a good observation here, because that means that there is still a little bit of room for the price to go up, even on the continuous chart, after taking the bicep liquidity here. So that's completely fair. But nonetheless, in terms of what we can see, what we could see potentially going into this session here. Right away, it's kind of tricky, kind of difficult to tell. Very neuralgic point at this moment. We have relatively equal lows left, relatively equal highs left, just banging inside of this larger prolonged consolidation. It still could go higher, admittedly, especially to the June contract and September contract not reaching the all-time highs yet. There is a little bit room still to go on the upside. So referring to that, or watching that particularly, you could potentially still expect a further expansion on the upside towards the all-time highs on this particular contract, nonetheless. The previous day's high buys a liquidity. Previous day's high buys a liquidity. That's the volume imbalance from the daily chart. On in Q, and the all-time high right there. So yeah, not trying to pick a top, sticking with the all-time highs, sticking with the bullish aura flow so far. The previous day's high, the previous day high is probably like the go-to idea near term, with that possibility that we could see even a run on that all-time high here on the June contract, and that would be reasonable, I suppose. Let me see the September contract quickly. Yeah, it's looking more liquid on the 1 minute chart versus the June, so it's probably like the most reasonable contract month here. So yeah, on the downside we have those relatively cool lows on the 15 minute here. And we have that previous day's high buy side. Besides that, there is kind of like nothing really I would like to pay attention to. It's either this sell side or either this buy side. It's a little bit of a 50-50 as we are in the middle of the range, and it doesn't necessarily look very high probability by any means right now. At least as for this particular session here. I'm noting a little bit of respect, a little bit of discount sensitivity at the consecutive encroachment here recently. But again, very hard to tell. Now ES has the daily bullish inversion for value gap here, and the all-time highs right there on the September contract. Assuming the retracement down there on the ES, I know it's kinda ambitious to expect that, I assume. But let's see. These are the relative equal lows here, and this is the buy side liquidity for the previous day's high. Just consolidating, leaving lots of relative equal lows here. But yeah, both ES and Nasdaq, I don't have a strong opinion on both. I think they are more likely to continue higher versus lower, but I'm not quite sure what and how they want to play out this particular session. If you would run the sell side liquidity here first, then yeah, that could be an opening for potential reversal and run towards the previous day's high. At least that's what I would think. But right now, where we are, this is pretty much a low probability 50-50 type of session in my eyes. So yeah, that's how I see it at the moment. Lots of clean relative equal lows from here to here, and some measure of buy side liquidity near term resting above this old high. So like on a very, very near term basis, and I guess that's something that I can watch and study for this particular session. It will be the sell side liquidity here, relative equal lows, and the old high buy side liquidity here. And I would like to see buy side, for example, being taken out first. And then if it shows some measure of rejection, displacement, I would anticipate that this could be potentially the next draw on liquidity, assuming that we can stay inside of this range and not necessarily trade outside of it. But yeah, we'll see. So yeah, I mean, definitely, more of a like tape read, more of a like stay out type of session in my eyes. We'll see what will deliver after all, but I'm not having high hopes for it. Also taking a quick look at the calendar. Today we have nothing planned for the day, and tomorrow is FOMC on a shorter week because we have Friday bank holiday, US bank holiday. So Friday will be probably like free. And tomorrow FOMC might be the biggest catalyst for the price to move and run this week. On a no news day, London open session with these type of conditions so far seems very difficult to navigate. But we can expect a little bit of volatility at the 930, right? Which should imply that the 10 to 11 silver bullet might be a little bit cleaner, therefore. Especially if this one is very poor, then the next one can be cleaner, but yeah. So yeah, I guess a big part in finding nice high probability setup is being able to consider poor conditions, poor market conditions first. And I believe these are pretty uh, pretty dirty conditions to trade in. I'm not saying it's impossible, but as for really high probability setups, this seems to be a little bit ambitious. And that's my statement for this long open session today. Will I be proven otherwise? I might be. Who knows? But yeah, I just don't know. I just don't know what I would do with this price action here. In terms of like a very high odds setup. We have a first presentation, a bearish fair value gap here after 3 a.m. This is also a fair value gap after buy sell liquidity here was taken. So that's like a more of a high probability fair value gap by definition. So now we closed above this rather easily. Let's see if we can act as a bullish inversion for value gap. Near-term buy sell liquidity resides here. Lots of relative equal lows being left. Right, near-term buy sell liquidity swept here. we could see a return back into this inversion fair value gap. All right, already sliding below this inversion fair value gap, bullish. There is a small little volume imbalance right there that it traded into. All right, so initial reaction of that volume balance, nobody's close inside of it. And now if it wants to show any way up, then it needs to reclaim this bullish inversion fair value gap by closing above it. All right, so it traded up into the SIBI here, and it's now selling off aggressively. So these lows and this low specifically would be something to keep in mind at this moment. So yeah, I mean that's kind of like the nature of these conditions here. It could go either way, technically, and it's very difficult to have a very clear one-sided read on it. So now let's see if this volume imbalance can act as a measure of resistance here to send price lower towards the sell side liquidity. All right, so we got the volume balance, reclaim bearish fair value gap. return to it. And now challenging that CB one more time. But again, challenging conditions, low probability conditions. Also, I would say no need to push my luck here inside of this type of environment. So yeah, price is also staying inside this larger range. All of this price action is pretty much balanced out. There was up and down delivery, back and forth many times. All of these prices were offered efficiently, so there is no real imbalance inside of it. Therefore, it's basically just favoring high resistance liquidity and conditions and lower probability. Let's see if you can challenge this low next. Short-term high taken out, price rejects aggressively. Also closing this CB, so that's a bearish signature here. Price is selling off, it should be attacking the sell side liquidity here and potentially there. And now we see the opposite signature. Short-term low taken out here and quickly rejects higher. So like a stop run there and quick rejection, suggesting that it should be attacking the buy side here. But again, this is like the core essence of this being a 50-50 type of scenario, 50-50 type of market, which I mean, I just don't know. If I traded this here, I would be just gambling. Like pure gambling. Therefore, I would prefer to avoid these type of conditions at all. And yeah, I'll watch for a little while still to taper it. But this already is quite quite difficult to navigate. Yeah, I mean the first 22 minutes of this long open silver bullet and this price action doesn't really, you know, bode well for anything. Look at this overlapping fuzzy price action here. All of this. That's very difficult price action to work within. I mean this price action is really really like a rattlesnake shaking its tail. It's gonna bite. Whatever you do with it, it's gonna bite. Bite back. So the dollar index. Yeah, the price liquidity on the dollar index is way too clean here. I would like to see it disrupted at some point. Yeah, the dollar index looks a little bit cleaner in that regard. Whether it offers an entry, that's remain to be seen, but disturbing those relatively lows here. If it could lead to a rejection, then this could act as a bullish inversion, and this could act as a bullish inversion to take it up there for the buy liquidity potentially. Something to watch. But in here, there's really nothing. Like look at this. It's up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, all overlapping since 50 minutes. Yeah, very nasty. Right now, all of a sudden, it's bulking up higher. But after all of this mess, it's very hard to trust this price action will deliver anything really. But yep. All right, approaching the 330 here. And I personally think I've seen enough so far. I don't want to entice any ideas inside of this particular session here because I just don't see anything clear by any means, and the price action so far is showing that it's really poor. If it delivers a run eventually, even this session, I think I would still like admit that I wouldn't be participating in it anyway because of how the price action behaves. Therefore, the smartest way to approach this would be to just leave it like this and just come back on the next session, next window of opportunity, because this feels like wasting time, wasting energy, wasting attention in a market that's not predisposed to deliver well. So that's how I see it, and that's how I will approach it. So nonetheless, thanks for watching. Kudos to anyone who withstood this mess with me. But yeah, that's going to be it for now. and I'll be back later for hopefully a better price action. So thanks and see you guys. Bye.